And hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is our bi-weekly live stream, and I am thrilled to be here. I am Michael Hoffman, the president of OSINT-related project, and I am joined here on our live stream with three of my colleagues, Ines. Hello, everybody. There you go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ines, IWN_LX on Twitter. It's so nice to be here. I hand over to Technisette.
Hi, everyone. Lizette here, also known as Technisette, and I hand it over to Josh. John, sorry.
John, same thing. It's all the same. All the same.
All you guys look like.
John Turbush, the Gumshoe on Twitter. Glad to be here again with you.
Cool. Thanks, John. Technisette and Ines. As many of you know, we are the OSINT-Curious project. Our goal is to teach people and explain things in the world of open source intelligence. And today's show is going to be something that's going to be fun. We're going to go a little off script. Before we get into the kind of the standard things that we normally do, along the bottom of the screen right now is our website, our handle that we use on most sites, except for Instagram. On Instagram, there's a little bit of a challenge for you to find what is our official OSINT-Curious handle. And we also have links to the Searchlight Discord, which is the chat group that we're in, and our Patreon patron site. If you find value in what we're saying or any of our other products like our blog posts or our 10-minute tip videos or other stuff, please consider sponsoring us and helping us, well, keep the lights on. Ines, John, Lizette, welcome. I mean, this is cool. We're back. Do you want to see who's out there in the listening world? Hey, cool. Dr. Chaos is here. Cool. Hey, if you are one of our listeners or viewers right now, as we are live on Twitter, Twitch, our Twitter, Periscope, Twitch, and on YouTube, type something into the chat. Say hi to us. Let us know that you're out there and that you're able to help us with the Geoguesser game and all the other things we do.
Yeah, we need help because sometimes we suck.
We definitely do. We do. Hey, Edmund, welcome. All right, cool. So one of the things that we always try to do when we first start off is get a warm-up in, and that warm-up is playing the Geoguesser game. For those of you that don't know, the Geoguesser game is one where we visit this geoguesser.com website, and it's Geoguesser without an E in the ER. It's geoguesser.com. And the goal here is to find where we are in the world based upon the cues that we see in the images from Google Street View. We always play the daily challenge when we do this, and that gives us 5 rounds of 3 minutes each. So we have a little bit of a time constraint here. I'm very thankful that, Ines, you're here. I mean, last time you were here, we had, 2 things in Portugal, and you were just like a rock star on those, which we would expect. So, Lizette, maybe we'll get some stuff over in, main parts of Europe, the midsection of Europe or something. Yeah, fingers crossed. Cool.
Or somewhere in the States.
Yes. Oh, we had one that was John, that was in the States, and one of the techniques that we used to identify where we were was something that somebody had mentioned before, looking at the trash bins or rubbish bins that were out on the curb. We were going down the road and there was a rubbish bin and it had the 303 area code on it. Okay. You know where that is, right?
Is that Denver?
Yeah, exactly. It was Colorado. And sure enough, it was right there. So it was awesome. Hey, Mark. Hey, Danny. Welcome. All right. So the one biggest thing, or the 2 biggest things that, I guess they can't both be biggest. The 2 things that we want you to remember is, one, when you help us solve these challenges, throw into the chat on whatever platform you're on what your thoughts are for where we are, and tell us why. Don't just say, this is in Portugal. Tell us, it's in Portugal, I saw a flag, or that sign points to a town in Portugal. The second thing is no Googling, Binging, Yandexing, DuckDuckGoing, no using additional search engines for looking up things. I don't want to say cheating, but yeah, we're trying to use just what's up in our heads. All right. Ines, Lizette, John, you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right. I'm going to keep that banner running. Here is the daily challenge, and we're going to play it. All right, here we go. The first location is a black screen
It's a
Russia.
cave. It's a cave somewhere.
What the heck? It is not right. Oh, come on.
Did you refresh the page?
I'm going to refresh the page, but I think it's going to restart the challenge. But what the hell? That's
This is
awesome.
a difficult location.
Oh,
Yeah.
here we go. Here we go.
There we go. Okay. All right. So we are in a desert-ish
Desert
area.
area.
Hang on. I'm
Driving on the right side of the road.
Yep. Driving on the right side. And there's a single white line down the middle and yellow on either side, which is definitely not North America here.
No.
All right. So let's see the license plate.
It looks like an Arab
Yeah.
kind of
So we had
feel.
something like this that was Israel. You know what? I'm gonna go
It's
ahead
yellow.
and
We
it's
had
yellow.
something like this at the other time, and it was Israel.
Israel.
Remember?
Yep.
And it was exactly the same yellow color with a little bit of blue or green on the side. And I was like, it looks European, like
Definitely.
even a Dutch license plate, but it's not because of the landscape. And then we found out it was Israel, actually.
So let's see these signs if we see Hebrew. Yep. There we go. We got Hebrews.
All right.
So
that tightens it up.
Yeah, it definitely narrows it down. Let's see. Let's see what
The
this
road
sign is.
sign on the left.
Yeah.
Beersheba and Eilat. Okay, so that's definitely southern, and Beersheba and Eilat. Okay, but where are we right now? Let's see if there's something over here. Is this what you were saying? Yeah, air experimental station. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go and see if we can figure that. Sorry, my VPN is having a little bit of a challenge today. Israel. Eilat is down at the south part, right down here, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Eilat. And what we're looking is, do we see Be'er Ora? Or
Yeah.
no? Yeah, was that on
We
the
saw
sign?
something for Nazareth. I'm not sure.
Let's try right there, but we've got some time here. Hang on, let's see what this sign says. Again, it was there it is. Beersheba. Is that what this says right up here? Oh, Be'er Ora. All right, and there's Eilat. I'm wondering if we're even closer. Let's see if we see anything.
There's the zone. Go a little bit down.
Down?
Yeah, isn't that the oh no, it's industrial zone because it could say like environmental testing.
Absolutely.
Whatever zone.
Be'er Ora. Let's see. We've got 30 seconds.
Maybe
We're on the right road according to Danny. He says road 90.
Oh yeah, it says 90 right here. So we're on the right road.
Somewhere on
The
there.
question is, like here in the United States, it's like New York is this way, and
It's 300 miles.
yeah. All right, we'll try here and see what happens.
I think sounds pretty good.
All right,
I
come
mean,
on.
we're in that zone there.
What is happening with my VPN? I might have to turn off the VPN. I don't know if that's going to kick me out. Well, let's see. Disconnect. All right. Am I kicked out of this too?
Oh, he's gone.
He's completely gone. Is somebody able to get back into the...
There he
He's
is.
back. I mean, come on. You were like
I was
super
gone.
quick. You were
I was
quick. You were
I-
quick coming back.
I am. I'm super quick. All right. So let me just share my screen and see.
Do we still have the...
You know what? I'm not sure. It doesn't say that we guessed.
Did we run
We
out
still
of
have
time?
12 seconds left.
I know it's like frozen.
Oh, it's frozen, yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna have to redo this, but I think we're absolutely correct here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we would have like top points. I think we
Yep.
should just count it as that.
Oh, 128 kilometers. Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it
Not
would be
bad.
okay if I hadn't hit the refresh button over here.
Because
we're
we
doing-
were like actually in a intersection between two roads, and we put it in the middle of a place where there was like no other road coming in. So yeah,
Let me see if I can play the next round here before it reboot. Let's see. Wow, this is really slow. Okay, here we go. Oh, and there's a sign up here. All right, so right side of the road driving, we see the Google car 2. Let's see what that says. Laguna something? Yep, Laguna Escondida.
Okay.
Escondida, yeah, that's
We got
Spanish.
wait, zoom in again. We got some mountains in the background. Looks like we're in
Yeah.
some sort of valley.
Would you say
It
like
doesn't look like Spanish roads, though.
No, I
doesn't
would
look-
say South America.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
I think it. All right, cool. So let's see. Help us solve this, everybody. We've got dashed roads. Let's check out these these electricity poles. I think we're just
And
going to
it's
see
like in terms of, but I would say Argentina, just
Yeah.
because it's like super.
flat,
But that,
Really
yeah,
flat.
but it almost looks like a high altitude flat,
It's
right?
like
Yeah.
an altiplano kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so where are we thinking? Argentina?
that would be
Right.
my guess. But I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
just saying it to say something. If I had to like guess now on the spot.
Yeah.
I think that's a good take.
Okay, so
Oh,
Argentina.
there was a sign on the right.
Oh, there was? Oh, I'm gone. Here.
Back up. Back up.
No,
There's-
back up a little bit. It was
Okay,
a
okay.
bigger sign. Oh, there we go. On the
We got a
gate.
car.
Right there?
No, on the other side of the road. On the left hand
There?
side. Yes.
There's no sign.
Oh, sorry.
this
I
gate.
thought there was a sign.
You're
Let's
just
check out the
wasting our
car.
time. What's that?
But there's a car there.
Plate or
And-
something off that car.
All right.
Yeah.
hang on.
Yeah.
Definitely not European, but
No.
No.
all right. So lots of mountains, high altitude.
Cattle.
Okay, so
It looks like a lot of cattle, and like Argentina has a lot of cattle,
Yeah.
and also Brazil cattle
Yeah, I
production.
was
But
gonna
it's not Brazil because it's Spanish. So
what is this? A Dodge Ram? Not a Dodge Ram. No. What is this? North of
north
Patagonia.
of Patagonia, yeah, it could be.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at this. Hang on. So you're saying where's Patagonia? Can
In
somebody
the
else-
south. Yeah, more south.
Yeah.
So that's over there.
That area there.
So here, okay, but don't we see mountains all around us? Like here, if you look, okay, so there's mountains like 3/4 of the ways around us. This
Yeah.
doesn't look like the right area, does it?
Well, you've got the Andes right there, man.
Yeah.
All right. I'll try. Where do you want? Like here or up a little higher? Where do you want?
Yeah, somewhere there in the middle.
All right, right there.
Yeah.
All right,
let's
here we
try
go.
it.
Let's try it.
You
Ooh,
see,
so
not
it's
bad.
farther south. All right. All right. So this was Argentina. Now let's
Yeah.
go to geotips to South America since things are hopefully a little speedier here. Now most of South America is driving on the right-hand side of the road.
Mhm.
Wow, what's happening to my VM? Come on. I'm on dial-up, everybody. All right, so here we go. Argentina. And now it has to load it. So we see the Google car, which makes sense. There's the bollards. Okay, so here,
Mhm.
Ruta Nacional. So that is going to be a big thing in the future. Well,
Yeah.
we can see that because that's very specific. Okay, so something like that. Road signs. We didn't really see any of that. We weren't in a city.
No.
Oh, but wait, it has the Ines, you were talking about this, the
Yeah.
accent over the N for
Which
that
is
Ines.
Spanish. Yeah.
Spanish, okay.
And also, Argentina is probably the country from South America that looks more like, that has like a more northern feeling because the rest is quite more tropical. So
Okay.
you could see that in the sky and in the light, and for me,
Yeah, it definitely was a chilly Argentina kind of
yeah.
South America vibe.
You all got it. All right, let's go to the next round. And this, let's see. Come on, load it up. Clock is ticking. There we go. All right, let's
Oh, we
go
got-
down the road here.
Got some people at least.
Yeah, and it says Policia.
Alicia, yeah.
And that's like a real estate.
Oh, yeah.
But look at the. But this is weird.
No.
I mean, that is
Might be Eastern Europe-ish.
Ketu
Turkey?
du Tek. I don't know.
Get to the.
There's a Gulf
There's a
oil.
Gulf, yeah.
Yeah, and all right, and these guys are in full warm.
But it's a
warmer
roundabout,
clothes.
so there must be signs.
Yeah.
Or else you don't know which
Signs and
exit to take
signs.
and stuff.
Let's see, Portugal.
Hey,
No,
Portugal.
Come on, Ines.
no, not Portugal.
It says
Portugal.
Portugal. I guess this is
No,
for
no.
the port or something, maybe
Maybe.
there's a sign.
up here. You mean straight ahead?
No, just turn
No,
a
there's
little bit
a road-
back.
Yeah.
Oh, over here. I see some over
Yeah.
here. Hang on.
Okay, go over there.
I'm trying, but my computer. Oh, come on, computer. It's not doing anything. Please. Work with me.
So it's your computer knows we're getting way too good at this, and we were
Yeah.
like getting all these prizes, and like someone was like, okay, they need to like get their egos down a little bit. So let's like slow this down so that they can only guess by being in one place.
Right. Yeah. I wonder if it's just not letting me go because there's no like maps there. Yeah, I can't go over that direction.
Oh, okay.
Weird. All right, so let's go down this road. I have no idea.
How about that red and white stop sign?
Okay, so we are driving on the right-hand side of the road. You said right here, there's the circular?
Yeah, that's
signs,
roundabout.
Right? Okay. So we are on the right-hand side of the road. Do we have long license plates? Yeah, we do with the blue area. So definitely EU.
Yeah.
And a bike lane.
I would go for Hungary.
Petronas.
Petronas is yeah.
Where?
It's
Hungary?
The main sponsor of Hamilton.
Yeah, it's
we have 30-ish seconds.
I would go for somewhere in Hungary.
Yeah, I mean we've got some weird things.
Hungary.
Festament. I'm almost thinking like for Autoshiko.
All
right.
Cool.
Anything?
So
driving.
Definitely getting like a Macedonia or somewhere Eastern Europe to the south.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try like Serbia.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. Macedonia to the south. What is this?
Albania.
That is the first time we've ever had Albania. So
and someone had said Albania here. Ryan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan also said Turkey and Bosnia as well. So,
but if you guess everything, you can't be wrong.
That's true. That's true.
Point
okay.
taken.
So
Albania.
let's see.
Because it had kind of Latin. It's funny because Latin, like Romania and Albania, have a really strong Latin background. Yep. And it's funny because people that come from those countries, they learn Portuguese really fast, like really fast. It's amazing. And it's because of that Latin root of their own language. So they're pretty quick picking up on Portuguese as well. It's Albania, Romania.
Right.
We weren't far off there.
Yeah,
nope.
No.
So Albania has these types of bollards. So this is important. They have the little blaze in the middle of it. Concrete. Well, that's not really helpful. All right.
Blocks of concrete.
Blocks of concrete. Yeah. All right. So, but this is a very distinctive type of road marking, isn't it? I don't see this type of thing other places. All right. Albania. Here's the electricity poles. Also Ryan, I see you. There you go. And there's the EU license plate. Okay, vegetation. Now we were in a city this time, which was good. They have the classic European style roofs, and this is good. The alphabet. Okay. So we have that little I don't know what it's called underneath the C, the umlaut type of thing over the E. So we have some I guess accents that we can look at. All right. Very good, everybody. All right, let's take a look at the next one, and let's see if things speed up on my computer. Oh, palm tree. Let's see. And let's look at the trash bin over here. These are so helpful. Oh, and it's Arabic over here. Hang on. Right here. Al-Dahak bin.
We're probably in the...
Al-Yarmouk.
Like Tunisia.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I mean, it definitely looks like a fairly arid place, but
it also has English.
So it'd probably be in the EUA, right? The
United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, it could be. There's like some tall buildings in the back, I think.
Because they will probably be focused on people who speak English as well.
Tradecraft says UAE. Tell us why. We see the back of the car there, which is one of the things that they tell us. We also see it. This is a one-way road, and I'm going up the wrong way, so we can't really see. Oh, here we go. St. Martin's Anglican Church.
And there's
there's a website here on the right side over the.
It ended over on .net, so it's
it was golf.net. I don't see any. So let's see. Sharjah. Abdulmonim, where is that? What country? And tell us the part of the country if you can.
And why?
Yeah, and why? That would be good too. All right, so here's the
there's
flag.
a flag.
Okay.
Almost private school.
Yeah.
Jordan? I'm trying to think what that is.
All right, let's just go up this way and see. It would be nice if it said that. UAE, Sharjah.
Yeah, I think it's
okay.
I think it's the UAE flag actually.
All right,
Okay.
so here, anything you see here?
Tours.
05 and 06 for telephones. Dubai flag. Is that what it said?
Something.
All right.
Well,
Well, let's head
Sounds
over
like we're in that
to the Middle East.
part of the Gulf there.
Yeah, I think it's UAE actually.
UAE.
Yeah.
Where's Sharjah? Let's see. I don't see it. UAE. Okay, everybody's saying UAE. Let's just pick UAE. We're going for probably middle, I would
I
say.
mean, the big cities are probably on the coast, I would guess.
All right, we'll go up
Yeah,
there.
and it should be close to some tourist attractions, maybe.
It was
Okay.
Dubai.
We're close, though.
Yeah, we were. I mean, that wasn't too bad. So
Mm.
let's learn more about Dubai. Yeah, it was North Abdullah. Yes, absolutely. But it was north in a not so great way. Here we go. All right, so I guess Asia, or is that Africa? What do they consider it?
Technically, that's Asia, I believe.
Right over here?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't
Yeah.
have Dubai. They just have UAE. Isn't Dubai right up there?
Well, Dubai is also pretty.
And there we have the flag.
Yep,
Because
that was the flag.
the
And the
the
Google
UAE
car.
is divided by states, you know. So
Yeah.
it's Dubai, Abu Dhabi.
Let's see. At the bottom, they usually have the. Hang on. At the bottom, they usually have the. There we go. Aha.
Yeah,
Okay, so my bad.
It's-
Dubai is inside of UAE.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
did not realize that. Okay. Cool. So let's just see if there's anything that we could see. So UAE, everybody guessed that. That was good.
Hmm.
We saw the car. All right. Road lines. We did see road lines, but wasn't anything. In fact, wasn't that like the name of one of the things that we saw at school?
It's possible.
Now, this would have been a good giveaway if we had seen
Yeah.
Dubai. That would have been. Oh, and there's the Sharjah. And Dubai. Okay. But there is in English light poles there. Oh, here are the license plates. Interesting. Commercial plates are green and shorter. That's a good one. I'm looking for those discriminators that we can use next time. Tall buildings.
Yeah, we saw those.
Okay. Google car and then Arabic. Okay. Cool. All right. So we're not too bad. We're in the same regions. All right. Let's head off to round number 5, the last one. We're in the mountains again. But this feels
like
more Europe.
Europe-y.
Yeah, you see the orange roofs and 2-story buildings.
License plate.
License plate. We
Can we check
are
it
on
out?
the right-hand side of the road, it looks like.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can see this car's license
Tiny,
plate.
tiny car.
Yeah, really tiny.
I would say it's
it
a
looks like a
Peugeot.
Peugeot.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah,
Peugeot,
so it's
but-
probably France. Something
All right.
France.
Well, let's see. Yeah, sorry,
Maybe.
Rehan. I didn't know that.
Oh,
Wait, look there.
Yep. I'm waiting. Come on. Reload. There we Oh, wait. Here's some better stuff.
Gas
No left
station.
turn.
Luke
Micah.
oil.
Luke.
Let's see.
Oh,
Is it,
Luke oil. I think it's in
Luxembourg.
Belgium and Luxembourg as well. Yeah.
okay, and it's Evro Premium. So
Yeah,
I guess.
Eurodiesel.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Luxembourg.
Let's see some more signs.
All right.
Yeah.
You can find them.
Let's go down here. We'll see. All right. So we're here. We have Luxembourg. We're on the right-hand side of the road. Is that where what people drive on over there? Let's see
Yeah.
what this truck is. It's a white truck.
Yeah.
Nothing. All
Okay.
right. Huh.
If you see
Let's-
a Portuguese flag, then it's probably Luxembourg because it's
Wait.
like 30% of population in Luxembourg is Portuguese.
Oh, wait, what's that sign there?
It's a Hyundai.
No.
Die.
Probably for
Kohan.
Kohakman.
That, yeah.
they'll probably be having a motel side of motel kind of thing or a restaurant next to the road.
Yeah, but looking like it's too open to be Luxembourg, because Luxembourg is really small and doesn't have like a lot of open. Maybe,
south of France?
but that's Kolnhan looks more like Germany. Like it looks the way it's written, it looks more like German than actually
Could it
French.
be Austria? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Let's see what it says on this pack.
Has yellow license plates.
Yep. All right. So what do we want? I know we're in Europe.
I would say France, and I would say northern part of France.
Northern, like up here, maybe?
I'm going to let the locals zone in on this one, but that sounds about right.
It's going to be like 100% off, maybe. So.
Yeah, it was a lot off. Wow.
Wow.
Bulgaria? No, Kosovo? Serbia. Whoa.
You see?
That was
today we were like, nah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just us, because
no.
In the shadow,
Mochi is already saying that it looks like French to me.
Yeah.
Well, we had a couple of the false positives, the Peugeot car, the Luxoil, but we didn't see many street signs. Let's see if we can find Serbia and learn about that. Yep.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, that
I
was
would never
tough.
either. I don't know. Look, oil is also
There's nothing happening here. And my computer's connection is messed up too. Let's just.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Here. Come on. Oh wow. Let's reload that page. All right, so let's use viewer front summary. 17,000 is not bad. And you could,
it's in Europe.
Yeah. But look at all that Europe and Middle East that we had today. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Europe over here. And we're talking, where were we? Serbia. All right. Yeah, this is tough when you don't have, when your network connection's not working. All right, well, whatever. I'm going to reboot this. We'll take care of that. So we did okay there. That wasn't too bad. Yeah, I know. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel great. Sorry, everybody. I blame myself.
Yeah, and we it's good to keep us humble.
Yes. Cool. All right, I'm going to reboot my little machine there. Oh, okay. Well, for those of you that are just joining us, we are the OSINT Curious project, and we are just failed at we just played the Geoguesser game. And the Geoguesser game is a nice way to warm up and just practice some of those wonderful skills that we use within the world of open source intelligence. So Inesh, you mentioned before the broadcast started that one of the questions that you've gotten is about sock puppet accounts, like research accounts. Can you tell us more about tell us more about what you were thinking?
Yeah, so very often students want to do like a research project involving, for example, Facebook or Instagram, and they really want to get access to more data, but it's not possible because most of these platforms are completely almost shut down to like allowing researchers to get data from them. And I always tell them that a really good starting point ethically is whatever you do when you're creating a sock puppet for research, it has to be very clear for people that are in some way interacting, like because they saw your profile somewhere, that it's a research kind of profile. So you don't put like someone's face picture, and you will try to think about a name that doesn't sound like a person's name. So for example, I had a student that was doing some research on racism in music, in the music industry, and I told her, like, just put like the jukebox listener, or equality in music, or just try to put a name that it doesn't look like you're someone. And in the bio, if you always state that you're doing like, I'm a researcher interested in racism in music, if you have an idea, come and chat with me. It's even better. And then it's possible if you start like a small syllabus of what are the ideas that you want to do some research on, or do you want to study, that you can, like, for example, join public groups, and you can like pages, and you can, like, very easily on your Instagram feed or in your Facebook feed get a really good idea about the conversation and what's going on, because maybe there's like a group already of, I don't know, like African musicians in Portugal, and that it's a public group and you can see them chat about their issues. But if it's all very in the open, it shouldn't be a problem, and you can very easily, for example, even try to see if someone wants to give you an interview to collect more data. And for those of you who aren't directly involved in law enforcement, but are just, you know, you're from a company and you want to do some like social listening on what people are talking about your product, this is a really good way to go into social media without going through too many boundaries, and just, you know, trying to get a better feel on what publicly is being said about, like, your product, like camping, people that are crazy about camping, for example, or if you're doing about flying, a flying company, all of that can be done. And using a sock puppet is actually a very good way to get information, because Twitter allows you to do quite a lot, but as we know, like Instagram and Facebook, to get every day to try to go search those pages, it's completely different of actually getting a feeling on what actually the algorithm is proposing to you. So if you're involved in everyone that loves camping, what is showing up on your Facebook feed? And that's also very interesting, because it gets you a good idea on what are the main buzzwords, what are the main concerns. And yeah, I think it's a good way to start, like, a planning to do some OSINT on a certain topic.
So you've touched on like everything sock puppet related there, which is great, which is absolutely important. For our listening and viewing audience right now, if you have questions about sock puppets and creating them, using them, or whatever, toss it into the comments and we're happy to answer those. So why don't we break down sock puppets into things like creating sock puppets, and then maybe we can talk about using sock puppets and the differences there, because creating the sock puppets vary. I mean, the techniques that you're going to use vary according to what you need to do. And some platforms you don't even need them on. John, were you going to say something?
Brings up a great point where it has a lot to do with what kind of work you're doing, right? Like some of these platforms, you have to create some sort of a user account to get almost anything, right? And what I'm going to be doing as a investigator or doing threat intel stuff is going to be different than what a researcher like Nesh is doing, or, you know, one of her students. So, you know, I am seldom really ever going to be saying, yes, I'm a researcher and I'm doing X, because most likely my targets would want nothing to do with me then, right?
Right.
So it has a lot to do with where you're coming from and what are your targets of information, you know? Are your targets going to share that with you honestly if you're a researcher or whatever you say you are? I mean, the key thing really is, how do I get the information that I need? So if you can do that openly, I mean, great. If you can walk into some business and ask for information, they'll give it to you and they don't care, fine. But sometimes it's not that easy. And I think it has a lot to do with, you know, where are you coming from? Are you law enforcement? Are you a private investigator? Or are you a journalist? Or are you, doing research for school?
Well, so I have a question. I wonder, John, you and I are over here in the United States. Nesh and Technizet are out in Europe, or over in Europe. I wonder, Nesh, when you're advising people on what to do for setting up a sock puppet, is some of your advice based upon what the local, regional, and national laws are for Portugal? In that, if you set up a fake profile, I know that in some countries over in Europe and all, they're starting to pass laws that say it's illegal to do these types of things. Is that maybe one of the reasons why you say be open with what that you're a researcher instead of pretending to be somebody else?
Yes, of course. It has to do with legal and ethical issues, because the universities have ethical committees that will then not validate your research because of the way you got hold on the data, and you really need consent from people to get that data. But also it has come to a point, especially in the academic community, where we feel that you can't just like tell students, look, you can't do research on Facebook or Instagram, despite the fact that they're like so big and so many things are happening there, just because there's no access to data, which is also too much of a cost for like society as a whole, just because for the platforms, it's actually not legal to create the sock puppet account. So it's a balance that's not that easy. I know that one of the things that's been quite discussed also in law enforcement about what OSINT is and where does OSINT end and where does something else start. And I remember having a discussion with some German colleagues that they were saying that it had to do with the expectation of privacy. So they were in law enforcement and they would have like a certain types of groups where even though they were private, it was considered that there wasn't an expectation of privacy. Like imagine 10,000 people from your city. And some other groups, like your family group, like imagine there's a Hoffman group, and where there is some expectation of privacy because, you know, people, even though you don't know like your really third degree cousin, you know that he's like your third degree cousin. So there's a certain expectation of privacy when you share something in that group that you wouldn't have if you're doing it on your like city group, for example.
Well, I think one of the other things that John was bringing up, which is an absolutely valid point, is that, Inesh, when you're advising students of what to do and what not to do, it's for that academic research that then needs to get published and peer reviewed and all. John, you are looking for attackers, for bad guys, for people that are stealing credentials and doing things. If you went into a closed group and you're like, hey, everybody, I'm doing this I'm a CTI expert over here. You keep doing what you're doing. I'll just sit back and watch and collect what you. I don't think that you're going to be in there that long, right?
No, and I mean, you get into these legal areas where, like in the United States, as a private investigator, I can assume an identity and attempt to get information from somebody. But there are certain things that you can't do. You know, you can't represent yourself as a government official in any way. You know, in certain states, you can't even represent yourself as coming from an actual entity like a bank or something like that, you know, because they had problems with people getting phone bills from people and things like that they shouldn't have been. So you can't really say, none of us here can say, none of us are an attorney, these are the laws about this thing. But that is, if you're doing this, you definitely should research that and understand what laws in your area are. And it's not, you know, there are restrictions on these things. I know in like Singapore, where some people in my company are over there, and you have to get, you know, certain authorizations, or there's legal hoops to jump through to do research and create sock puppets and things like that. So, you know, in any country, you need to understand what those laws are, and they're going to change for country to country.
And I think one of the challenges too is, you know, our audience and really our project, the members in our project are truly international, and the things that you can do in Singapore or Australia versus over here in the United States versus Europe are different. And, you know, we know that they're different. I had some students in one of my classes that said, just doing some of the things that I need to do to get one of those Facebook or other accounts, like getting a SIM card for my phone so that I can have a non-personal or non-business tied phone number. In my country, those SIM cards, you have to register with a national ID in order to get one, which kind of destroys that whole fake identity type of thing. But it really depends on who you're trying to hide from, right? If you are, you know, if you're trying to hide from the bad guys and they are over in another country versus in your hiding from the government in your country, they're different things.
Yeah, you need to be aware of who you're telling, right? Like, I'm not too worried about the U.S. government knowing what I'm doing, because they're not going to be offended that I'm gathering intelligence on cyber criminals, right? Yeah. But obviously, if you're doing some criminal stuff or some shady things, you know,
it makes a difference.
I'm not going to say anything to help you, obviously, but your barriers are much higher because you're not going to be willing to share anything with anybody And that's how these guys get popped sometimes, is that they do have to get a SIM card and put their name on it, for example, which
Now,
is good. I'm glad, but still.
yeah. Well, I'm watching Lizette over here just keep her mouth shut and just kind of smiling, and I'll what are your thoughts on this, Inesh? Lizette?
I must say I completely agree. It has to do a lot of with the fact that who is your target and what is your role? Who are you? Are you a civilian or are you law enforcement? Do you have to follow certain rules, instructions, or laws or regulations? And only then, if you know what your position is and what your boundaries are, you can go. Because then you know you're getting the information on a legal base. You can, for example, like Inesh told about how to harvest data with the consent of the people you are harvesting the data from for university purposes. If you don't know that before you start doing your investigation or research, it has a huge disadvantage in the end, because you will not be able to use some of the information you've gathered as, for example, evidence. For in law enforcement, for me, I have to know where my boundaries are in order to get all of the information in a good and legal way. Because if I gather the data in an illegal way and there's important evidence in there, it cannot go to court, because a lawyer will definitely look into it and say, hey, this is not gathered in a legal way. You can then use this as a court evidence. So it will be taken out of the file, and that's something I don't want. So I think for everybody who's doing research, make sure to know what your position is and who your target is in order for you to start creating a sock puppet.
So on our website, and I've thrown this into the chat. Thank you, Lizette, for sharing them. We have several blog posts that we've created that discusses creating these research accounts, sock puppets, false identities, synthetic identities, whatever it is that you want to call them. I guess one of the questions that I would have is, we have a large part of our audience are those professionals, law enforcement, OSINT investigators that are doing this type of work all the time. And for them, Lizette, I think you're absolutely right. They understand their boundaries. In fact, sometimes their boundaries are very tight as to what they can and can't do. But we have a huge part of our audience also that's outside of the law enforcement community and outside of even the professional community, those OSINT enthusiasts that are doing the CTFs and all, whether it's like the ones that are finding missing people, or whether it's other ones that just require you to access data on some platforms that are more closed. I guess for those people, do you all have suggestions as to what you should and shouldn't do if you're not provided those rules of what you can do?
I know we have in the Netherlands, you have a law that restricts you from gathering personal data from people for a certain goal. So in order for you to gather the data legally, if you want to do anything with it, you have to abide by the law. It's the, I don't know what the English phrase would be, but there is this whole authority that sees on all of these companies that are gathering personal data for whatever reason. And even if you're a civilian, you also have to keep by that law. Okay. So if you're going into, let's say, Telegram groups and you're scraping all of that data and you want to make a research topic out of it, you're not allowed to keep all of that data for a longer period of time. I think the max is 3 months or 6 months, and then you have to delete the data again. But if you're not aware, you're using that data in an illegal way.
Okay.
But I'm not quite sure if this is in every country, but I know it is in the Netherlands.
I don't think the US has restrictions like that.
No.
I mean, it's the Wild West here, literally, as far as who can collect.
It also has to do with the legal system actually like doing something about it after you find out. Of course, there's a lot of people that have been like scammed, or I mean, I have so many friends that have been, I don't know what's happened to them, but something with a sock puppet account. Either they're asking for like credit card details to their kids or something else weird, and like nothing actually usually happens, and it's quite difficult to get behind a sock puppet account. But one advice that I would give when you're building something is it always has to be self-explanatory. So this is something that's very common whenever you're building like a legend or you're building like an undercover persona. Either it's to work on a job, or if it's online, it's the same. It's very important that you don't need to say to people, like if you're going into extreme right-wing groups in the Netherlands, if you need to say why you're never showing up physically, then you've built it wrong. It has to be self-explanatory to the reason why you never show up or the reason why you never interact. And if you build it in such a way, then it's much easier than getting like questions that you don't want to interact, because then you're going over your like legal boundaries. But on the other hand, if you don't say anything, you know that you're getting kicked off. So one of the best advice I would give is always try to look to it when it's finished, look at it like, or ask someone else who hasn't like been involved, like take a look and what would you say just looking at this account? And if the person says this and this and this and checks all balances, then it's ready to go, because those things are much more believable if they're self-explanatory than if you need to say like, yeah, I'm not interacting because I'm completely obsessed with security and privacy, or I'm not because I'm somewhere else in the world, or whatever reason you've chosen as you build it up.
And there's some environments where you're expected to participate, and there's some where you can just be a lurker or just do some minimal involvement. I know that on some platforms, you create a sock puppet account and then you join a group, and just by reposting somebody else's things or commenting on somebody's things and say, "Hey, great job," or "Oh, that's neat," is participation enough. But then there's other ones like John, you might be going into for the cyber threat intelligence, where in order to get into the actual group, you have to interact with somebody in some way. And Inesh, to your point, making sure that your sock puppets persona is crafted in a way that it kind of gives you that extra edge getting in there might be a very, very important thing.
I mean, obviously, just creating a sock puppet to lurk and gather information passively is typically not terribly complex. It's when you are interacting that you really need to, I always put attention on, okay, this is the target. Who would they share information with? What would that identity be? And how can I create them so that they would trust that is what it is, Okay. Whether I'm doing that digitally or back in the day when I was, doing actual live undercover stuff, like who do I need to be this person's friend to get this information?
Okay. And there, in your case, you're actually looking to find information about a target. And so right. You are trying to work your way into those circles, those groups or whatever, those friend circles where that person might be and might be sharing information. So you have to really craft your sock puppet well. Yeah,
I think that's the little next level compared to just going out there and okay, I'm on Facebook and now I can look at this guy's account. Right. You definitely need, in my opinion, to have a lot more thought going into your persona if you're going to be interacting.
Well, and that brings up a point here from Danny, who says, is there a difference between passive or active as a sock puppet? And I think, yeah, I mean, that's what we've been talking about, is if you are just joining a platform and not interacting, aside from maybe joining a group but not posting or tweeting or anything like that, that would be passive, and you can collect data. But John, to your point, going in and actually proving that you are this type of a person or you live in that part of the world is something that would be more active. And is there, I guess
it could be, but it doesn't have to be, because when I'm creating a sock puppet, I think of who my target is, even though I won't be active with that person, so I won't try to seek any interaction. Just because of just like if there would be any chance I would by accident click on a like button or an add as a friend button or whatever, I want to make sure I don't stand out. So I would seem like a normal person, that there's a chance that that person would maybe see me in his social circle wherever, but I don't stand out. And making sure your sock puppet fits into your target's world saves you a little bit from making that oops click mistake by clicking on a like button or a follow button or whatever.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And then again, this comes back to when we started out. Like, if you're a journalist, if you're a researcher, you're just who you are, and you're not really going to try and change that. In fact, it could be wrong and unethical if you did, potentially. So it really does depend on who you are and where you're coming from.
I don't know if you guys saw on the news, but there was actually this week a BBC team that went. Did you see it, John? That went. They went undercover, and they posed as a Russian. Yeah, and it's an interesting story because these BBC journalists, they pose as undercover as like Russian interests, intelligence, something, to try to see if this teacher was, open to maybe help them out and try to some way influence some opinions. And it brings out a lot of these issues that we're talking about, which is like ethics. For us, like for me as a teacher, like as an academic, I can see why teachers all over the world are kind of like, oh my, this is so wrong. But I can, being like former law enforcement, I can always also see like it's really important that, it comes, and it's a newsworthy situation that it comes out that this happened, so that there are experts that will actually sell their opinion to influence groups, and this is obviously wrong. So that struck me as a case that's going to have probably also some impact in the OSINT community to discuss. Like,
well, in that, and once you take so I think there's two different things, right? There is creating a sock puppet and getting into a platform. That is the very basics. And John, you mentioned this. That is like the basics.
That's job one.
Right, exactly. And then what you do with that sock puppet when you're on the platform is the other thing. You can craft a sock puppet, and then Inesh, like what you're talking about, you can catfish people, social engineer them, do investigative reporting and all of that. You can just sit back and watch what's happening. You can investigate profiles and activities kind of passively without interacting. And that depends on why you're in that profile, right? Why you're in that platform. Now, are there things that you all think about before you get into that first step of creating or let me rephrase that. What are the things that you three think about before you create that profile that helps you along the way? Like, do you think about personality traits? Do you think about where in the world this is? Do you match the sock puppet's likes and other things that you know about your target, so that they have more things in common? What are some things that you all think about when you're creating the sock puppets? Lizette.
I'm waiting for others to go
We are
first.
live on the air. I'm calling you out.
There are a couple of things I think about before creating a sock puppet. The first thing would be to look at my target and where would that person be online in order for me to figure out what kind of platforms are important. Okay. And then when I know which platforms are important, I look at how profiles are structured, normally from regular users. Like, do they share a lot? Do they hide a lot of their information with privacy settings or not? Or how does my profile not stand out in the whole crowd that's already on that specific platform? Okay. And then, of course, thinking about all of the information you are going to be putting on there. So anything from photos to names to locations, whatever comes next.
Okay, fair enough. So figuring out what platform your target's on, and then figuring out what that what that platform requires to you get onto the platform, and with the ultimate goal of somehow finding information or watching your target. All right, Cool.
And
John?
where they are obviously is a part of that, or if they speak Vietnamese or Russian or something like that, I may passively try and collect some information on them to start out, but typically I'm going to want someone that speaks that language if I'm going to be actively interacting with them. I'm not going to try to play around with Google Translate or anything ridiculous like that, because you're probably going to get burned pretty quickly doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, so trying to pass yourself off as a native speaker of a foreign language, if you are not a native speaker, Google, Bing, Yandex Translate are just not adequate at all.
But on the other hand, there are plenty of people that, in forums and other platforms where they speak English as often as they speak Chinese or Russian or whatever. Okay. So you may be able to create some identity. But often I think if you have someone that speaks that person's native language, you're just one step closer to being trusted by them and more believable and someone that they would want to talk to. So that's always a good step.
It's the like me principle, right? Somebody is more likable the more they are like you.
If I'm creating a sock puppet, I probably want it to be something that would be likable to that target that they would communicate to, right? Some commonalities, certainly.
Okay. Inesh, do you have some ideas? I see you furiously writing. I'm like, what is she doing? Solving crosswords over there? What are you writing?
I'm writing things that I don't want to forget.
Okay.
So one of the suggestions I would have is, having done this for quite a lot of years, you need to plan better and you need to anticipate before actually the project comes in. So it's really important to, every time that a new platform comes on, that you actually go there and try to create like 2-3 profiles just to lay there, okay? And when you do it, try to create them with different, already those different approaches that you may use. Like, okay, I know that I need one person that's going to be more like violent, male, like 40s, and I need female, young, so try to prepare yourself already. And if you do have time, which is even better, start creating, those small breadcrumbs. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it can be like, maybe on the local newspaper, make a comment like on a news, like, oh, my daughter just broke her leg. Just create something that that in 6 months when you need it, and if it's something related with CI or even CT or something that someone that may be more, on the lookout, if they do like Google this new person that just joined the group or the Telegram, or they go searching for your phone, that it's just going to pop up somewhere where they go like, okay, this person like 6 months ago with this phone number, they put an ad to sell puppies. So this is a real person. This is like not law enforcement going after me. And this idea of having off the shelf already things was actually probably one of the biggest like successes I had in my career, just because I started really early and I wasn't like bored, but I just started, and it makes it much more believable and much more like, it has more strength when it does show up and it's something that has a history, even if you haven't done a lot, but it's just, it's more built. Yeah. And the other suggestion I would give is, when that's not possible for some reason, once again, try to make it self-explanatory, the fact that you've just came up on a platform. Because, of course, people create Facebook accounts every day, but it's not that normal, okay? That, especially at a certain age. So if you join a platform and immediately you go like, hi, everyone, I'm back. I've managed to, like, please don't tell my ex that I'm here right now. Like, I'm using my other last name, or something like that. Anyone that comes, like, sees your profile because you just, joined a group or something, they will go like, okay, this is why this is a new profile. This is why this is like a new Twitter account. This is why this is a new Instagram account. And it makes quite a difference if you are getting a little bit more like offensive on what you're doing, that you are one step ahead. So this would be like one of my advices.
That's a great point. Obviously, if you are already on that platform or a member of that forum or something and have been for months or years, there's a lot more credibility that comes with that than somebody that just appears. So I'd certainly do that. I have a lot of sock puppets that hang out in lots of places, and they don't even have to be that active. But if they're there and they've interacted a little bit, maybe as a couple years ago, but then they're back, like that's a great kind of backstop as far as, okay, this isn't just some random that appeared here. They've been a member of this community for a long time.
And I love the idea that Inej just mentioned of the kind of psychology behind it. The, oh, I was on this platform, or I am on this platform and other things, but this new account, it's just new because I got a new phone and whatever, or it's new because I wanted to start fresh because I had some bad people that were stalking me or whatever. I love the idea of giving that reason for making people think you've been on there for months or years. Anyway.
Absolutely. On top of what I said about being, something like that target, you want to be believable. So you want to create a sock puppet that seems like it has a reason for being there. And if it's a new account, like she said, there should be some reason that they just appeared all of a sudden. So a lot of thought needs to go into creating these, typically, especially if you are interacting and keeping those long-standing accounts is always great.
Cool. All right. Wow, that's pretty good. Now we did have a question here from Ryan. Ryan, I wasn't ignoring you here. One of the questions that he had was about setting up a new platform, a new virtual machine, a new environment for each new sock puppet, or can use the same browser. I'm going to put words in his mouth here. Can you use the same browser? Can you use the same platform if you're logging in and out using different sock puppets? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it depends on the platform. If you have a forum and you think, it's like a criminal forum or something, or it's an extremist group and they're operating that, you better have some consistency there, I think. Or some explanation for why you're hopping from system to system, because when some admin looks at your account, these are things they're going to be able to see.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think what the question was is, like, if I log in as John Doe to a social media thing, can I log out of John Doe and then logging in as another sock puppet, Jane Doe, in the same browser, in the same VM, not using that same account across multiple platforms, but more using the same platform?
I think it's depending on the platform too.
Yeah, it's platform dependent. I mean, even for, say, Facebook, if you're hopping in and logging in with 15 different sock puppets and you're all coming from the same IP, Facebook's probably going to start shutting sock puppets down, right?
Okay. Yeah. And there's other things that the more advanced sites like Facebook do inside of your browser with storage, with cookies, and other attributes. Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. Any other thoughts on sock puppets? I know that each of you could probably talk for a half a day on sock puppets. You've got such great experience there. And Lizette's like, oh, let me tell you. Yes. Cool. All right. Well, you know what? Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe what we do in our another one of our live streams in 2 weeks is actually go in and not build a sock puppet, but talk about some of the resources that we use and maybe some of the techniques. That might be good to show some hands-on. And I will make sure my VM is fast by then, so that we can solve the GeoGuesser things fast.
Get the Cray 4 VM.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's going to be faster, because I still think you'll be using like 10 base T or something like that, 10 base 2 for the networking. Yes, old networking jokes. I'm sorry. Oh, well, Inej, John, Lizette, thank you so much for being here with me on the OSINT Curious live stream. Almost said webcast, didn't. Live stream. We are now at the end of our show, and we thank you, our wonderful audience, for being here. Ryan, Danny, thank you for your questions. All of the people that helped us solve those GeoGuesser challenges, thank you so much for that. And if you are listening to us when in the recording of this, which will be on YouTube or Twitch, thank you for doing that. Please consider in the bottom of the screen right now joining the Searchlight Discord. It's a chat group, and we are on there all the time. If you have any questions, you can ask us or any of the other wonderful community members that are on there. And as always, please, please, please subscribe to our channels and consider being a patron of our project. thank you so much for being on here, each of you. And well, I guess all we have to say is stay OSINT curious. Oh, I already
Are
said
you
it.
going to count us down?
I don't know. Let's let you count us down this time. Go ahead, Lizette.
3, 2, 1.
Stay
OSINT
curious.
Oh my God, this is
we're
never going to
terrible.
work.
Yeah, no.
We
Goodbye,
should never
everybody.
like form a band or something.
No.
Maybe we need to have like a beat or something
Choir.
like that.
We need,
Like choir
we need to
lessons.
practice this.
We need to make it a
practice.
song.
Okay.
That's it. We'll get Josh to like do like drop a beat and like ready. And on the 5th down beat, we're gonna like stay OSINT curious.
I like that.